Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Canaan, New York, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center in New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to day 3 of doing this in my car. I guess it keeps it a little exciting. At least it keeps it exciting for me.
Just be honest. Are you living in that car? Just tell me if that's the truth. Okay? Have you lost your home? What's going on here?
I'm living in a car. Oh, I wish life was that simple. Living in a car. Let me tell you this.
I live in a car.
I don't know it.
UK subs.
I don't know it. But anyway. Krishna always keeps me on edge here.
You need to get your internet restored in your home.
Yeah, you know what? I thought I made the good choice by going with Starlink. I thought that was the responsible choice. And now there is absolutely no customer service. They're all in outer space. If you want to reach them, it's impossible. And I've tried everything to restart this thing. I'm going to have to go back with the regular internet service.
All right,
but
let's work that out later.
It's amazing, though, how dependent we are. I mean, the household doesn't even seem to function without internet. Like, what has happened to our lifestyle?
Yeah.
But I will say Friday night, we were home with the kids and we were like, you know what? Let's play chess like we used to play chess. So we just had rounds of chess games. We couldn't watch a movie. We couldn't play our little individual devices. And we sat around and played chess like we used to. And it was almost like a vacation from, obsessive entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Good, Roga.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you?
Get into this? I'm doing good. I saw Edwin Bryant spoke yesterday across the street from my place at the Vedanta Center.
Oh, that's cool.
That was nice.
That's really
nice
cool.
talk he gave.
Did you sort of sneak on in there?
Well, I didn't have to sneak. I just went in like everybody else.
Did he go in disguise with like a mustache?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's good. What's the Vedanta Center like? It's some old building of Vedantans.
It's like a brownstone,
Yeah.
I've only been in one room there. They're the kind of where they hold their public programs.
They sort of shuffle you in, sort of like the Grange Hall or some secret society.
I don't know why you're going there. It's like a room. There's nothing secretive about it at all.
Is it some dysfunctional ashram? What is it like over there? I'm always curious about other ashrams and how they operate.
I don't know much about the ashram. I see the Swami. We bump into each other in the park all the time. We say hello.
Young man, old man, Indian man?
Relatively young. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems like he's kind of like the Acharya of the Vedanta Society kind of now. Swami Sarvapriyananda. So I'd say relatively young in that sense, but I'd imagine he's maybe late 40s, something like that. I'm not sure.
I can appreciate swamis from any tradition, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any swami will do.
I can appreciate him.
Appreciate someone giving their life to
something other than consumption.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, what do you got? I'm going to be sort of really,
Oh, you're dependent on me today.
I'm really dependent on you today a
Okay,
lot.
so
I'm
then
just
I'll bring out
living
the
in Mara's
nugget.
car.
I'll bring out the nugget. One second.
I got kids at home. I have no idea where I am. Just took off, packed everything up.
Oh, what did I do with my
You guys want some announcements while you're looking for
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
There you
Mara.
go, Mara. Come
Chime
on.
in, Mara, and
There
lower
you
your
go.
camera so we can see. There's like little dead air. There you go.
Okay. We have a Bhakti Recovery Group meetings at 1 and 2 p.m. today, Eastern Time. Tomorrow morning, Ariel Castillo has an asana class for our Patreon members at 10 a.m. And then this Thursday, we have a special episode 1000.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, we got to make sure we're all there. What time is it going to be on? At
The
6
usual
o'clock?
time. Yeah.
6 o'clock.
Right?
Okay.
6, but I think we may go a little long with this one. Like maybe we'll go an hour and a half or.
Okay, I can't go that long. It's a school day.
It can go, Raghunath.
Yeah, I
Nope.
can't. Oh, actually, I don't have the kids. I don't think. I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I do usually have the kids. Yeah.
Okay, we're a mess this morning. Get this week.
You know what I was thinking? I was like, it's okay to be a mess sometimes. We're doing this every day. Sometimes life doesn't. Sometimes life's got some wrinkles in it.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here's the nugget. This nugget is coming from Richard Rohr, who we had a whole week dedicated to him like last year, didn't we?
Yeah.
You okay, Raghunath?
Yeah.
You're in a very
Lost your
dark
camera.
corner of the universe. What's going on over there?
It's better doing this in my F-150.
Okay.
But go on.
So Richard Rohr, he's like a, I don't know, was he Franciscan? I forget, but he's a prominent Christian theologian and writer, and but he's got a lot of great insights, very parallel to like our stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you ready? Okay, this is it, Raghunath. Spirituality is about being ready. All the spiritual disciplines of your life, prayer, study, meditation or ritual, religious vows, are there so that you can break through to the eternal. Spirituality is about awakening the eyes, the ears, the heart, so you can see what's always happening right in front of you. Richard Rohr.
I got a feeling I would like him.
You want me to read that again? You good?
Sure. Sure.
Spirituality is about being ready. Okay, I'm ready to perceive things correctly, right? You're ready.
Yeah.
You're doing all these practices to get ready. All the spiritual disciplines in your life, they're not ends in the self. You know, they're meant to prepare you for something, to enable you for something. Prayer, study, meditation, or ritual, or religious vows. These are so that you can break through to the eternal, right? See what's behind the facade, right? The temporary facade, so that you can break through to the eternal. Spirituality is about awakening the eyes, the ears, the heart, so that you can see what's always right in front of you.
Yeah, you know, I really liked where I was going with this analogy yesterday, and I think I got to polish it up. But remember that, remember this, like life is filled with a bunch of doorways, and I open this one door, and there's like a monster. As soon as I open the door, it's like, "Blah!" I think something gross jumps out of me. Open another door, it's a dragon, "Blah!" Burns fire in my nose. Open another door, it's like a pitfall, it's a cliff. You know, these are like obvious, yet people still fall into them. You know, drugs, opioids, you know, intoxicants, you know, addiction, addictive behaviors. It's like almost like super obvious, yet people walk into the fire. And so we have these, you know, different religious practices in our system. We have these things. We don't do this. Those things aren't spiritual things. They're just like, those things will incinerate you. They will wreck you. They will cause havoc. Don't go there. Do not even open the door, even if you hear charming voices behind the door. Come on in. Please, everything's okay back here. Don't go in. When Maya's knocking, don't come in that door. Now, other things now appear to be like, this is a nice doorway. It leads into a lovely hallway. This is a charming hallway. And within that hallway, other doors appear, right? And we have to walk sometimes down these long corridors to actually get where we want to go. But sometimes those long corridors could be dead ends. We have to we have to open other doors to get out of there. Like when we go to more sort of refined things that aren't so tamasic, so steeped in the mode of ignorance and passion that seem good, that seem natural, seem wholesome, but still don't lead us to ultimate liberation of the soul. And sort of this is where when you read this today, I was like, this is where this is going. All this stuff is preparation to bring us to higher levels of prema, or higher levels, to that highest, the highest destination, the param gatim, the supreme destination. But we have to be careful not to get distracted from very attractive branches of the hallway where we can completely get lost, and then ultimately end up in dead ends. And the dead ends are there's we ultimately have to give up our body, and we have to give up everything that we hold dear to us, and it can leave us a little bitter and broken and hurt and sad and stuff like that. So we are like, I think the Bhagavatam is leading us to this pure love of God, which has all these, accoutrements of, or can have all these other accoutrements of maybe living a simple life, a natural life, an ethical life, a peaceful life, a life of kindness, right? But that could fit within a lot of philosophies, all those things. But it keeps on goading us further and further and further, till almost like we're not even in this world while of this world. We're not of this world while we're in this world. That's what I meant to say. Make any sense? Did that make any sense to you this morning?
Yeah, I think you could still polish that one a little bit, but
I'm working on it.
Yeah, but I like what you're saying. It's like these things. I'd imagine being like we're getting word on the chat board. He is a Franciscan. I guess he's a Franciscan monk. Is he a monk? He seems to not always wear the monk garb, but he may be a Franciscan monk.
Maybe he's a fringy Franciscan.
Whatever he is, he's got a lot of good insights. So, but when you're kind of like in that kind of community, you're in a community of people that are taking these things serious. They're taking their prayer serious. They're taking their study, their meditation, their rituals, their vows. I suppose there's a kind of trap, or kind of, I guess, like you're saying, a type of dead end or something like that, where those, in one sense, those things can be external. You can be the person that prays and the person that studies. You can become very learned. You can memorize all kind of books and quote all different kind of verses and so on. You can be known for putting in so many hours of meditation or doing these rituals. You do them in front of the whole community. Oh, that's the one that's doing the rituals. Obviously, they're much deeper into this than me.
Right.
They're much more spiritual than me, and so on. But here he's saying that there's a purpose to all of these. And the purpose is that you're perceiving something that maybe you're not, to get us to the point where we're perceiving something that we're not perceiving now. He says so that you can see what's always happening right in front of you, like that there is something more than this facade that we're seeing, that when different people are walking around seeing the same thing, but seeing some, but understanding it differently. So in that sense, seeing it differently, right? So one person is, let's take death for instance. Like one person experiences death in one way, and it shakes them, it rattles them, because they're living on that surface. Not that there's anything wrong with grieving or something like that, but maybe they want to turn away from it. Another person is turning right into it, and try and understanding, fearlessly approaching it, because they've connected with that eternal, this eternality. This is practically defines spirituality in one sense. That which doesn't deteriorate, that which doesn't even change. These yogis are trying to understand that, to not only understand it in a theoretical sense, but to feel it within and to see the world through the eyes of eternality. And so this is where this is meant to lead. And when someone starts to penetrate this a little bit, the depth of their spirituality begins to kind of transcend the surface level spiritual practices, so-called, or religious practices, you can say, right? It's like they're really beginning to understand. We're going to read today about the next birth of Bharat Maharaj. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take birth already with the super deep realizations because he's got the memories. He's been building this up for this is the third lifetime in which he's been practicing, right? There's the first one as King Bharat. There's the second one as the deer who understood exactly the mistake that he made, and why he had to take birth as a deer. And he lived his whole life as a deer with his clear understanding. Now he takes birth again as a human being in the family of a very, what we call Pakka Brahmana family, right? A family of a Brahminical family, a family that's into all of these things, into all the spiritual disciplines, into the prayer, into the study, into the meditation, into the ritual, into the religious vows. They really embody this stuff. But he's already got the results of that stuff very deep within him. And so, although they're going to try to train him up in that, for him, he's recognizing that even this stuff, even this good, otherwise good stuff, it can be a trap. It can be a trap for pride. Like, oh, I'm better than the others. I'm the special one. I'm the learned one. I'm the holy one. Everybody's recognizing it. And this is leading to a type of respect that's holding me back. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. And his inner life kind of makes the details of all of this external life obsolete. Even though the external life is helpful, for him, his inner life is so deep. We're going to hear about the external life. We're going to hear about the internal life in today's show.
If you were to take any of like Maharaj Bhart's life that we know of, I'm sure there was many other interesting spiritual lives that he went through, the soul traveled through. If you actually put yourself into his shoes or into his paws, not paws, into his cloven hooves,
His hooves.
There's every opportunity to become bitter and angry and upset and like, this isn't fair, or this isn't fair. And why me? Why did this happen to me? And now here I am as Jada Bharata. That's going to be the new incarnation. There's a lot of reasons to be upset with this incarnation of himself. And the fact is, the more I analyze my existence, the more I'm realizing like everything that's happening, every shard of glass or pebble that gives me an ouchie when I step on it, or every sort of like stone that gets thrown at my head or fall I take, every little piece of pain is somehow a gift for my growth. Everything's a gift for my growth. And I have to stop looking at it in this dualistic good bad sort of existence I'm going through, and this is happening to me again. Why is it that's so unfair to me? And it seems like, and I'm going to speak for myself, I'm so deeply steeped in blaming the world for things that are happening to me. I'm missing out, and it's creating a smokescreen for me seeing Krishna's beautiful hand leading me somewhere. And I'm frustrated, and I cry, and I'm exhausted, and I get anxiety, and I'm missing out on the magic that's like right in front of my face when I'm trying to go outside and trying to fix everything that's going on there and trying to make my material situation so smooth. And the problem is, Krishna's got me by the hand at all times, and he's leading me. And it's like, what kind of crazy tradition do we have where we go back to Queen Kunti, where she's actually praying for the things I'm complaining about? She's praying, oh Lord, please let the calamities come again and again. Because when they're there, that's when I really see you. That's when I really feel so connected to you. Why can't I have that vision? It's such a high vision. I've never heard it explained like that in any other spiritual tradition, but it's so poignant for my life today. That's what I'm going through right now.
What about when you had your Christian circle? They wouldn't talk about seeing the struggles in life is revealing deeper spiritual truths.
Not to pray for them. Oftentimes the prayer is for, please relieve me of these struggles. Okay. Right? Not you like my Christian club, don't you?
I think you got to go back and find those guys and reconnect.
Preach to them.
Well, not necessarily, but just see how.
Hey guys, dude, I know what they'd say. Hey Ray, how are you, Ray? Been praying for you, Ray.
Okay, good. All right, Raghunath, you ready?
Ready.
Hit it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Midatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Miss Mara?
Reading from Canto 5, Chapter 9, Text 1.
Chapter 9, Text 1.
Yeah, new chapter today.
It's new
entitled?
chapter day.
Entitled?
Entitled The Supreme Character of Jada Bharata.
No. So
Now, I find it very interesting that he kept the name.
Well, I don't think he did. I think we're just calling him that, but I doubt he
Okay.
had the same name. I don't know. I mean, it's possible.
Could.
But
Could
what does
die.
Jada mean? Do you know what Jada means?
You know what? I was just thinking that'd be good to know. I don't know. I don't
Well, I'll
know.
tell you right now.
Oh, you know?
Yeah. Jada means
is
like dull, like a dullard.
Okay, so this wasn't really his name. This was sort of a description.
Well, people may have called him that, you know.
Yeah, but I can call you, big head. That doesn't mean you have a big head.
No, I mean that wasn't his like a
And that doesn't mean it's your
given
name.
Yeah.
Big head.
But it just means it's that same Bharata that we knew from 2 lifetimes ago as a king, same person,
Yeah.
different body.
He was a little dull.
He wasn't dull though, but he pretended he was. And if
Right.
we go back, remember that his father, when he was the king, his father was Rishabdev. And
That's right.
remember, Rishabdev used to walk around like he was a crazy madman. People couldn't figure him out just because he wanted to keep his space, right? So he's going to do the same thing. 2 more births down the road. He's going to live something kind of like what his father was doing, except he's going to just appear like, oh, this guy's just like, mentally just not there. He's like, he's a dullard. He's somehow handicapped or something like that. He's going to pretend, even though this birth that he takes is kind of like a very fortunate birth. We're going to hear about his father. His father's loaded with good qualities,
Alrighty.
but he's so determined that he's like, no, I'm not even playing this game. I'm not even going to let them on. I'm going to have
You
a
ever
whole
feel like that
eternal
in this world? I'm not playing the game any longer. It's sort of a
Yeah.
beautiful feeling. All right. Here's text 1 and 2. Sukadeva Goswami continued. So this is the narrator.
Okay.
My dear king, after giving up the body of a deer, right? The deer just died.
Yeah.
Bharat Maharaj took birth in a very pure Brahmin family. There was a brahmana who belonged to the dynasty of Angira, and he was fully qualified with Brahminical qualifications. What were those? He could control his senses and his mind, and he had studied the Vedic literature and other subsidiary literatures. He was expert in giving charity, and he was always satisfied, tolerant, very gentle, learned, and non-envious. So imagine being born in that body. You're already endowed with these type of qualities, and sometimes you meet a little child like that. They have a lot of good qualities already, and it's like, my special child. Yeah, it's not special. He's been working on this for lifetimes.
But this is his father that we're talking about here.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is, but and to be born into that type of family is a special thing as well.
No
So
question.
he was self-realized and engaged in devotional service of the Lord. He remained always in trance, right? He had 9 equally qualified sons by his first wife. It's a lot of kids. And by his second wife, he begot twins, a brother and a sister, of which the male child was said to be the topmost devotee and foremost of saintly beings, Bharat Maharaj. This, then, is the story of the birth he took after giving up the body of a deer.
All right.
So he was a twin.
He was a twin. Yeah.
He was a twin. Very interesting.
And now look at these. Now we get a good list, Raghunath, of the Brahminical qualities, right? They're just listed that this father, he had shama, control of the mind. Most people don't have that. Most people don't even know they need it. Most people, like they don't even understand, like that's kind of like one of the things you're meant to get under control in life is most people don't even have the clarity to understand that I am different than my mind, that my mind is this machine that's working separately from me. He had control of the mind. He was very controlled mind. Dhamma, he had control of the senses. It's Shama, he had Dhamma. Most of us our senses are pulling us here and there. We can't say no. We have a hard time saying no. He could just say no. You're not in control. I'm in control. This is an elevated being. Tapa, practiced austerities. He had this because he had such mental control. He could practice austerities. What kind of austerities do you think he did?
Control the tongue, belly, the genitals. It wasn't all over the place. He wasn't scrolling, most likely.
I don't think that. We can imagine maybe fasting sometimes, maybe taking vows of silence sometimes, rising very early. Maybe in the cold weather, he's bathing in the cold river. He can live in simple controlled diet like that. So he's practicing austerities, penances. And then it says Svadhyaya Adhyayana, recitation of the Vedic literatures and studying the Vedic literatures. Okay, so he's got all this, he's focused in the right place. Tyaga, he's renounced. Santosha, he's satisfied, right? Most of us are always dissatisfied. I need something more. I need something more. No, I don't need anything more. Titiksha, he's tolerant. Most of us get upset over the littlest thing. He doesn't get upset. He can tolerate. Prashraya, he's very gentle. Cares about other people and their experience. He's not disturbing other people. Not with his words, with his actions. He's gentle. Vidya, he's got knowledge. Anusuya, he's got no envy, no animosity towards anyone. And Atma Jnana Ananda, he's satisfied in self-realization, right? It's the satisfaction he's getting in life is from experiencing his inner nature. It's not coming from external things. Quite a special soul.
This is the dad.
This is the dad.
So this is, imagine being born into that family. It's a special birth. They say that in the 6th chapter it says that to be advanced in yoga, to be new to the yoga path and then die before you're fully enlightened, you get born with some good karma. And we glorify good karma in this world. We think, oh, he's so fortunate, he's so lucky, what good karma that person has. Sometimes we'll even say that. But this is higher, that you've been practicing yoga for a long time. You become very spiritually evolved, and then you die untimely. You get born into a family like this where everyone is self-controlled. The parents already evolved. And from childhood, you have that opportunity. You still have to opt in for it. It's just because they have it, that doesn't mean you get it. But it gives you this opportunity at a young age.
Yeah. What this reminds me of a little bit is going back to the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because where that book starts is it opens up, it gives a little description of Siddhartha and just how special he is. And then the first scene is Siddhartha sitting in meditation with his friend Govinda, right? 2 young men practicing meditation, sit next to each other. And they kind of come out of their meditation, and Govinda turns to Siddhartha and he says, hey, how's it? Oh, no, I think Siddhartha says to Govinda, how did you feel about your meditation today? Share with me your experience and how you feel about it. And Govinda says, we're doing great. We're doing this meditation and step by step, we're kind of moving towards our goal. It feels good to me, kind of like that. How about you, Siddhartha? How are you feeling about today's meditation? Where are you at? And Siddhartha, and he expresses dissatisfaction, right? This is dissatisfaction in a good way, in this sense. Like, in other words, I feel like we're doing these external practices, but we're not getting to the goal of it. We're not really getting some traction, getting some transformation. I don't feel an effect. And as a matter of fact, when I look around my village, I see that, there's men that have been doing these rituals and these practices and these meditations for years and years, their whole life. And when I look around, I don't see one of them that I think has this deeper inner life that I'm searching for. Right. So we're doing these external things, but still just kind of caught up on the surface level of life. I'm not satisfied. I'm ready to walk away from all of this, and do something radical to kind of like to change. So we're hearing in these two verses this lengthy description of the good qualities, excellent qualities, important qualities for a spiritual practitioner that are imbibed by his Father. The next verse is going to talk not about the external life, but about the internal life of Jada Bharata. Okay, that we're going to hear how deep his internal life is and how he's going to kind of reject all of these good external practices because he doesn't want to do them in a superficial way. And he's already so deeply spiritual advanced that he doesn't need them. Text 3.
Okay, so text 3. Due to his being especially gifted with the Lord's mercy, Bharat Maharaj could remember the incidents of his past life. Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. It's like, oh my God. All right. I was a deer. What was I thinking? I was a king. I remember it. Oh, I tripped up. I meditated on a deer. I became a deer. And now he's taking birth as a twin in a very holy family. Right. Bharat Maharaj. So he who was Bharat Maharaj, he could remember the incidents of his past life. Although he had
it says by Bhagavat Anugrahena, by the special mercy of Krishna, he got some special blessing.
So although he received the body of a brahmana, he was still very much afraid of his relatives and friends who were not devotees. Right? You can read that and be like, what's all this fanaticism? You can't have friends that aren't devotees. It's not a fanaticism. It's an idea that anybody we hang out with can so easily drag us off a path. And when we become like a virtuoso, like when we're so focused in on our spiritual life, we got to be careful. Just like if you're allergic, you have some strong reaction to gluten. You have to be extremely careful when you're in a restaurant. What are you sure this is gluten-free? Because I will react in a very, very, everything will start to swell and my head will explode. You have to be very careful. So when you're really focused on your spiritual life, you're very focused on what you're associating with on a regular basis.
And he had just gone through this experience where he got a little bit lax and he paid for it with a lifetime of a deer.
Although he received the body of a brahmana, he was still very much afraid of his relatives and friends. I'm afraid of my relatives too, who were not devotees. He was always very cautious of such association because he feared that he would again fall down. Consequently, he manifested himself before the public eye as a madman, dull, blind, and deaf. Really?
Yes.
Dull, blind, and deaf? So that others would not try to talk to him. So that he put on this whole act because he didn't want to associate with the material world. And in this way, he saved himself from bad company. Within, he was always thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord and chanting the Lord's glories, which save one from the bondage of fruitive action. In this way, he saved himself from the onslaught of non-devotee associates. I love to think like this. Whenever I meet someone who's sort of a little, they just don't conform with material codes, or we call them on the spectrum or whatever. You never know who you're with face to face. Never know where their head's actually at. They could be very, very present, but pulling back for their benefit, not to get entangled with the world.
It's possible.
Right. And that's why our statement is give everybody dignity and respect. Why? Because you never know who you're dealing with. You never know who you're dealing with, no matter how they present.
I think there's a message here too. Beyond like someone actually like putting on a whole elaborate ruse like this, but just the idea of that when one begins, when one is practicing spirituality, it's likely they're doing so within a community of some sort or within an institution of some sort, you know? And we can begin to, it's very possible like that within that, say, like an institution, there are certain, I don't know what the right word is, but like, I guess like external positions that seem like success, right? You know what I'm talking about, Roger?
Yeah. I might have to climb in the back seat and try to plug this computer in, or I'm gonna go black soon.
Yeah.
So
And
I
it can,
want you to read the next verse after you share this.
sure, but so here's my point. The external life of his father and his family is highly respected in society, you know?
Mm.
It's like these are serious spiritual practitioners. These are people that are not caught up in most of the stuff that most people are caught up in. They're doing these practices regularly. You know, they're very virtuous people. But he's realizing that I can fit right, no problem. I could fit right into this. I'm born in the right family, all the right trainings there. I could walk around the neighborhood and be respected as that person, right? I could be seen as the pure brahmana. But he's realizing that's not what I'm after. I'm after that's that even that with even within the very virtuous lifestyle, even that can be a trap. I'm going deeper, and that and spiritual life means that, you know, if we can't just be satisfied with the external, some sort of external recognition. You know, it's very easy. As a matter of fact, I would imagine if you had 100 spiritual practitioners, you know, like the majority, even the vast majority of them, will become satisfied on the layers that are not you know, that are still external.
Mhm.
And he's determined that I will not get stuck on those external levels. I will take it deeper, even if I have to do this elaborate ruse. You know, he's gone through so much in his previous two lifetimes that he's got this special determination. It seems like he's also kind of got the realization that one lifetime is not a big deal, like in the sense that I can take this lifetime. I'm going to make this entire lifetime 100% about that deeper inner spiritual life. Even if I have to do this elaborate ruse, I'm not going to get caught up on the external. So even though I could be this recognized as this brahmana, I'm going to act like I'm completely out of it, and they're going to try to train me up in this, and then people will respect me. I'm going to make it look like I'm so out of it. Nobody's going to respect me, but I'll have this whole internal life going on all along. So that's his, like, you know, that's what he focuses on. So um this was text number 3.
Yeah, we're on text 4 now.
Okay, we're on text 4, but I just wanted to just look at a little bit about what we're hearing in text 3, because we heard about the external life, not entirely external, because it talked about these good qualities like satis santosha, which means like contentment, and tatiksha, you know, he had tolerance and so on. But the deeper inner spiritual life, first we hear about in this about the practices of Bart. We call him Jada Bart now, so dull Bart. But it says that this is how he's engaged in shravana, in hearing, and in smarana, in remembering. So these are pure practices of bhakti, right? That I'm hearing about Krishna, I'm remembering Krishna. Remembering also like kind of implies meditating on. When you say smarana, you can say it means remembering, but it means I'm directing where I want my thoughts to go. I'm bringing them to the thoughts that I've had, you know, that to really to what I've heard. You know, I hear about Krishna's pastimes, then I sit down, I meditate, I remember those pastimes. So this is his inner life. But what's the topic of his meditation? Where is it? Where is he particularly focused? I might be, I might have the qualities that his father has. I might be able to control the mind and control my senses, and I may be studying Vedic books, and I may have tolerance and contentment and so on. But where is that all focused? It may not be focused on the supreme root of all existence, but Jada Bart is focused like that. It says that it says guna vivarana, the descriptions of the qualities of Lord Krishna. Charnaravinda Yugalam, the two lotus feet of Krishna. Manasa, with the mind, Vididhat, he was always thinking of. So although he had, he had all of those, if we go back to our nugget, where Richard Rohr was saying that all of these spiritual disciplines, prayer, study, meditation, ritual, vows, they're there so you can break through, right? Break through to meditate on God, to bring your awareness to that source of everything, that maintainer of everything, that source of bliss, that source of our sustenance. So he was there, even though he wasn't doing all these external things. Internally, he was focused, and he was focused on the right spot, and he wasn't going to do anything that he wasn't going to allow any kind of prestige or anything external to interfere with that. Okay, Raghunath, have you got your life together there? What's going on over there?
Getting
We
worse.
can't hear you. Oh, there you go. Huh? What are
It's
you
getting
doing?
worse.
What's going on?
It's ridiculous, and this would never happen to Kastuba. Okay, but I
Got it?
heard you. I heard you through
Okay.
all that.
Okay, so now we've heard about the external life of Jada Bharata's family, but the internal life about Jada Bharata, and how externally he's appearing like he's totally out of it. Internally, he's totally focused. Okay, now we're going to hear about his even though he appears like this, his father has deep. Seems like his father is not only. I mean, maybe obviously because it's his son, but maybe his father also feels like this is a special person, So even though he appears like he's severely mentally, what's the politically correct term? I don't know.
I don't know.
But it's like, it seems like he's mentally retarded. He seems like he doesn't have he just
Can't say
can't. Well, give me something else to say. I'll say it.
I don't know what you're
Challenge.
saying.
He's mentally challenged. Is that what
Yeah.
people?
Mentally
Can't say that.
challenged.
Disabled.
Can't say that.
Disabled.
Yeah, so whatever it is, I think we all understand. In any case, his father's still like determined to train him, still determined to like help him be the brahmana that he feels. This is what I share with my son. This is what I meant to share with my son. He's trying. So we're gonna hear about that now. Next few verses.
Okay. Text. What are we on 4?
Yeah, text 4.
The brahmana's father's mind was always filled with affection for his son Jud Bart. Therefore, he was always attached to Jud Bart. Because Jud Bart was unfit to enter the Grihastha ashram, he simply executed the purificatory process up to the end of the brahmachari ashram. Although Jud Bart,
so he was unfit to enter the grihastha ashram. In other words,
wasn't gonna get married.
This guy can't support a family. This guy can't, get a job. This guy can't, be a good husband to a wife. He's dull. He
appears out of it, completely out of it. So they let him like a brahmachari. Although Jud Bart was unwilling to accept his father's instructions, the brahmana nonetheless instructed him how to keep clean and how to wash, thinking that his son should be taught by the father.
Okay.
Jud Bart behaved before his father like a fool. Despite his father's adequately instructing him in Vedic knowledge, he behaved in that way so that his father would know that he was unfit for instruction and would abandon the attempt to instruct him further. He would behave in a complete opposite way. Although instructed to wash his hands after evacuating, he would wash them before. Nonetheless, his father wanted to give him Vedic instructions during the spring and the summer. He tried to teach him the Gayatri mantra along with Omkara and Vyariti. But after the 4 months, his father still was not successful in instructing him.
So he's trying to train him up to be a brahmana, how to be clean externally, how to do chant the mantras.
Yeah.
He was purposely doing it all backwards. Like
it's pretty interesting.
You wash your hands afterward. He's washing them before and not after. It's like no, let's try that
Poor
again.
frustrated father.
Yeah, he's
a good
father.
He's a good father.
Yeah.
The brahmana father of Jud Bart considered his son his heart and soul, and therefore he was very much attached to him. He thought it wise to educate his son properly, and being absorbed in this unsuccessful endeavor, he tried to teach his son the rules and regulations of brahmachari, including the execution of Vedic vows, cleanliness, and study of the Vedas, the regulative methods, service to the guru, and method of offering fire sacrifice. He tried his best to teach his son in this way, but all his endeavors failed. In his heart,
Oh, did we lose Raga?
I think so. I think maybe his computer just died.
Oh God! All right, we made it almost through the show.
I know, almost
It was
made
an
it.
interesting one. Okay, let me. He said he tried his best to teach his son in this way, but all his endeavors failed. In his heart, he hoped that his son would be a learned scholar, but all his attempts were unsuccessful. Like everyone, this brahmana was attached to his home, and he had forgotten that someday he would die. Death, however, was not forgetful, and at the proper time, death appeared and took him away. So again, it's an illustration that externally he was a good religious man. Externally he was doing all the right stuff, but he didn't have the inner drive to have these deeper realizations about life. So he was a very good man, but still, his attachments were there. It said that he forgot about death, but death didn't forget about him. In Prabhupada writes here, those too attached to family life, who forget that death comes in the future to take them, they forget that death comes in the future to take them away. They become attached and unable to finish their duty as human beings, right? So this is what Jada Bharata is. He's like, I'm going to finish my duty as a human being right now. I'm going to realize everything I need to realize. I'm going to let go of everything I need to let go of in this life, and I'm going to become free. But his father, he hadn't taken it that deep, so he died, still incomplete. The duty of human life is to solve all the problems of life, but instead people remain attached to family affairs and duties. Although they forget death, death will not forget them. Suddenly they will be kicked off the platform of a peaceful family life. One may forget that one has to die, but death never forgets. Death always comes at the right time. The Brahmana father of Jada Bharata wanted to teach his son the process of brahmacharya, but he was unsuccessful due to his son's unwillingness to undergo the process of Vedic advancement. Jada Bharata was simply concerned with returning home back to Godhead by executing devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, hearing and chanting about Krishna. He did not care for the Vedic instructions of his father. So this is what Bhagavatam's teaching. If we go back to the four Vedas, the earlier literature of Vyasadeva, he's really glorifying all of these different practices that his father is absorbed in, and so on. So much so that they may seem to be the goal in themselves. When we get to the Bhagavatam, we have someone that's saying, I'm not even going to practice that stuff because I don't want the external prestige and I don't want the material blessings that come from it. I'm not interested in any of that. I'm determined to stay fixed, connected to that root, to Sri Krishna, and I'm not going to let anything break me from that. And are you here, Raghu? Are you back?
I'm here. I'm here with my phone, Matt.
Okay, with your phone.
Computer died. It's been a tough morning.
Okay, it's one of those mornings. It's a Monday. But, this whole chapter is a relatively quick chapter. It's not going to tell us a whole lot, although it actually tells a whole lot, but real quickly. But we're going to hear, we've heard about the family that he's born in and the affection and the training of his father. And now his father dies. And then we're going to hear tomorrow about the rest of his brothers weren't so affectionate to him. And people in general weren't so affectionate to him.
They're cruel
this
to
is
him.
an interesting thing, right? Experiment what it must be. We really should do this someday, right? We should experiment. Just like we should walk around like we're homeless or we're mentally disabled or something like that.
I got news for you. I don't have to experiment like that. I went through a public high school. I went through a public high school. I was mistreated. I was picked on. I was extorted from. I don't need any experiment to feel what it's like to be harassed.
No. But this is different right now. This is the whole world is just like, any case, he goes through this. And then, but you didn't go through what he goes through. And maybe we'll hear about tomorrow, but even these dacoits, these like kind of criminals who are worshipers of Kali, they say, oh, we need to find a sacrificial victim, someone to sacrifice, to kill, as an offering to Kali. And they say, oh, well, this guy right here, he'll do, right?
Yeah, well, you don't know.
To kill him.
You don't know what my junior high school was like.
Okay, maybe. Did someone try to sacrifice you to Kali? and then Kali is going to come and protect him. That's the whole chapter. The next 3 or 4 chapters after that are all about. This sets us up to understand who Jada Bharata was. Not only was he very deep internally, always meditating internally on Krishna, even the goddess Kali comes and protects him, manifests in a special way to protect him. Okay, he's a special character. The next chapters are going to be how this important king, King Rahugana, how he can't recognize who he is, how he starts to openly berate, criticize and berate him in public. And then finally the dumb man speaks. Right?
Spoiler alert here.
Well, but this is my point. He's going to speak. He's going to turn around and he's going to start to just drop the knowledge on him, right? He's going to speak Vedanta in a way that he's never heard before, and the king's going to recognize, oh my God, this was no ordinary person. I was being an idiot the way I was treating him, and now I recognize he's far more deeply. And then he's going to start to question him. And so the next few chapters are just about their conversation. So in one sense, this chapter is just to frame the next few chapters, that we have a very special being here. And then we're really going to be ready to hear from him in the next few chapters. It's great stuff that comes up.
Good stuff coming up. Those are previews. Miss Mara.
Yes.
701, I think. Where are our takeaways?
Yeah, I got some good takeaways today.
What are nuggets?
Spirituality is about getting ready.
That should be a T-shirt right there. It should be
What
a picture of
are
Mara
our nuggets?
with a microphone, and it should say, "I've got some good takeaways today."
The Mara line, the Mara collection.
We need some new merch.
I'm
Yeah,
curious
that'd be a
to
good one.
know
I
if
think that'd be
private,
really
if they
good.
were cruel. Martine says private school was cruel too. Were they cruel in private school, Mara? As cruel as they were in junior high school, my junior high school?
I don't think my private school was so cruel.
Well, they had all girls. I think men.
It's a different
Boy,
type of cruelty, I think. Because I think
Yeah,
I think girls can be cruel too, but it's like
Mean
in a
Girls?
different way.
Is that the name of the movie? Mean
kind of like
Girls?
psychological platform.
Yeah, it's like psychological more than beating them up.
Psychological pain women can cause. Men just do the gross things like jump you, publicly humiliate you. Okay, go on.
But I think my school was relatively nice. Okay, spirituality is about getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Awaken the senses to eternal reality.
Do it.
Eternal reality.
When Maya's knocking, don't open the door.
You're knocking, but she can't come in.
Every pebble of pain is a gift for my growth.
Every pebble of pain, every shard of glass, every trip line.
Be a virtuoso of spiritual life.
Ooh. All
You
right.
never know who you're dealing with.
You never know. It's a good one.
Save yourself from bad company.
Bad company. They were a band, right? Bad company.
Yeah,
This band, it was a song. I guess you don't
Yeah.
know that one though.
I don't know the song. Bad. And what
Bad
song?
Company, Until the Day I Die.
I know that song. Death is not forgetful.
That's her.
Death is not forgetful. Oh, death as
Like
a
you
being.
can
Death never
forget about
forgets.
death,
Yeah,
but death
yeah.
doesn't forget about you.
That's such a powerful statement.
I know, it really is. Don't get distracted by external prestige or material blessings.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And beware the junior high school worshippers of Kali.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
beware those guys. They're gonna come for you too, or your kids. Thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry I didn't say good. I really feel my morning is incomplete because I didn't say good morning to you. I'm sure you did. Did you welcome all
You
the
can
new?
do it right now if you want.
Good morning, Jack Bogan. Good morning. Welcome to the Murphy. Here he is. Jimmy J.
We can't hear you very well.
Yeah, your microphone sounds bad on your phone, Prabhu.
Oh, I love you all.
Jai Shri